So after the leak of the decision that came out from the Supreme Court that basically was going to overturn Roe versus Wade, really outraged a lot of women out there and a lot of progressives out there. I think it serves as rallying cry for the midterms. It conveniently helped is going to help Chuck Schumer and Nancy and company. Chuck Schumer knew the bill in the Senate was not going to pass. He needed a 60 vote majority to pass the anti abortion bill in the Senate. If you need 60 votes, you need 10 other Republican votes. The GOP did not pass the bill that would make abortion legal on a federal level. Chuck Schumer can say that the Republican Party failed to pass the bill to make abortion legal. And because of that, they're trying to take away your right to do whatever you want with your body. The Democrats will get women out to vote. The GOP is really trying to take away their rights. I agree. The religious fundamental crazies will do whatever they want to have a theocracy in America. That part is certainly true. But I can't help the fact that this rallying cry for the midterm, cynically, I think is going to be a distraction from the real issues. The focus of the midterms on banning abortions and women's rights is going to be a distraction from the progressives, whatever they've done that they've failed to pass. We haven't had Medicare for all with Joe Biden. We didn't have the Green New Deal at all. We didn't raise the minimum wage on the federal level, right? We didn't have any of those things. And those are the things that we should be focusing on right now. But instead, they're all worried about the Republican Party banning abortion. That's going to be the central issue. They're going to try to get suburban women out to vote in the midterms. If Donald Trump were in office right now, it'd be like, why the hell did these stupid people reelect him? We have massive inflation after he did nothing about COVID. It doesn't matter who's president. Inflation was always going to happen the way it's happened right now. Corporate America was always going to price gouge us to make up for lost profits from 2020 and social distancing in 2021. That was always going to happen. Inflation was always going to happen if you print trillions of dollars and say, hey, 80% is going to go to the top, it's going to go towards corporate buybacks, it's going to go towards bailing out the corporate bonds. The money never circulated. You wonder why we have a lot of inflation right now. Oil companies take advantage of a crisis to price gouge us at the pumps. I wonder who this helps. It helps the fossil fuel companies. They're making record profits at ExxonMobil and what have you, and they don't need to raise the price by that much when 5% of imported oil comes from Russia. But it's because of Russia in the war, the gas is $4.50 a gallon. Really? Really, that's blasphemy. Most of our oil don't come from Russia at all. It's plain price gouging in plain sight. Price gouging right here. We're out of oil needed for a war. Really? 5%. 5%, that's all. 5%. Women's rights can be the focal issue of 2022 or even 2024. How are we going to expect real progressive issues to take the front center? The Green New Deal, no Green New Deal and no Medicare for all. There is a minor Medicare expansion, but that was only to account for any coronavirus cases that comes up, or those who don't get vaccinated have to be hospitalized. The fact that those who recovered from COVID have pre-existing conditions for the rest of their lives, shortness of breath and fatigue and what have you, that's not a real Medicare for all expansion. It's all a distraction. The abortion issue will cynically be used as a distraction to divert the attention away from the Green New Deal and the Medicare for all. Not just those two. But criminal justice reform? Get rid of weed as a Schedule I drug? The voting rights bill? That Manchin struck down the voting rights bill? Nothing can be done because at the state level, the GOP is suppressing the vote, making it harder to vote, less voting stations. You can't, no mail-in ballots. You have to show up to vote. Oh, well, screw you. We have long waits in line because they're not at polling stations. That's how you suppress the vote. But no, it's all about abortion right now. It's all a distraction. It will all basically be used as a distraction. It's all a distraction to distract from the real progressive issues. Climate change is the biggest threat to national security right now. Is the planet that future generations are going to inherit at this moment. But nothing is going to be done about it, is it? Will anything be done to increase the electrical grid to make it possible to sustain all this charging for electronic vehicles and what have you? Don't get me wrong. The government should have no place to decide what to do with a woman's body, but there are also other real issues to focus on. And this abortion leak right here is a huge rallying cry for the midterms. It really is. It's going to distract from all the other key issues that we should be focusing on more, quite frankly. And they know what they're doing. We'll see mixed results, probably like the 2018 midterms. GOP will take one of the houses. Will they take both houses? I don't know. Probably not. If inflation does get better, if Biden decides to try to pass some legislation that, hey, this is what we need. But nope. He's listening to Joe Manchin. He's listening to what the other side is doing because Joe Biden's part of the top 1%. He's letting Joe Manchin and Sinema block everything because it's rigged. They're just saving face. And Biden's saving face. Manchin and Sinema are paid. They take all of his donations to take the heat for Joe Biden, and I'm not buying it at all. This is a distraction from the real issues. You can take that. You can take that to the bank. It is a distraction from inflation. The fact that the GOP is going to do nothing about inflation. The fact that the Democratic Party has no plan about inflation. I mean, inflation is kind of out of the control of the president to begin with. But what action is he taking to kind of ease the burden of inflation other than the Fed, which operates independently with a little bit of oversight? What's he going to do about inflation? We certainly know that it would have made no difference regardless of who was in office. But the price gougers are Republican. They are more Republican than they are pro-corporate Democrat establishment. Blame it on the Dems. Even if the GOP wins the midterms, they still have inflation. They're still going to blame the Dems and do nothing about it. That's the biggest con. If you think, vote red, it's going to change everything. The prices are going to go down. It just means they have more time to replenish the COVID supply, but then these same corporations are going to use the supply chain as an excuse to continue to price gouge. Do we think these prices are going to go down? We're going to find out really what's happening. They're using the supply chain as an excuse to price gouge forever. Or we just have to wait for the real supply chain to get back to normal. We're going to find out. We're going to find out a year or two if they're full of shit that they're price gouging, or you have nothing to do about it. You have nothing to do with Asia and China closing down their plants because of COVID and there being shipping delays and the shortages of supply. You just have to put up and shut up and have to wait a little bit. Certainly find out. This rallying cry for abortion, it's good. But I think, cynically, I think it's a distraction from everything that Biden has done. He has not done. Everyone expected COVID to pass. Nothing will be done. The 14 months after he won the Super Bowl, Bruce Arians is no longer coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Something to ponder about. What is 14 about?